What's good, guys? Justin here with Ramping Nation. I just came back from the Chicago Regional, where I just got a second place with Fire King Snake Eye. If you haven't seen the deck profile, be sure to check it out. I'll pin it at the end of this video. But today, I thought I would reveal some goo. So everything I've been seeing with Voiceless, I've been pretty lackluster about. I haven't seen anybody try to super utilize the Drytron cards in the deck. So I thought I'd make a video on this. If this gets enough traction, I'll actually do a deck profile on this before Vegas and continue releasing more combos on this deck as I go. But something really cool about this deck that I noticed is that now you have a searchable way to low because she's a light fairy through Benten. So everybody's like, oh, well, you can't resummon the low in the same turn because of the Drytron restrictions. Well, that's irrelevant because Dynamon lets you just simply special the Skull Guardian from the graveyard on your opponent's turn. So let's get into this. I'll show you guys the combo. The coolest thing about this combo now is that you could just combo with one name. Every time before Drytron, our biggest problem is that we couldn't combo with one name. We had to super rely on having Alpha, Zeta, or two names to get to Mu Beta. But now, Low is not a level 2 dependent fairy with its levels. It's a level 1, so you can just use it with any of your Drytron names to just make Mu Beta. So let's get into this. I'll show you guys what I do. So this is my current iteration of the combo. You guys can free to mess around with it and change it as you like. But this is what I currently came up with, and it's just a standard Skull Guardian combo. It's nothing too crazy, but it's something that I think would be good into the current format because the Drytron cards essentially give you an extra layer. And the biggest problem with the current iterations of Voiceless is that Low and Saphira are big choke points for the deck. So if your opponent ashes Saphira, you don't really have much follow-up, and if your opponent stops Low, you can't really do much. People were like, okay, you have the level 9 fairy that could just quick tribute your Low and you can tag out and stuff. Or if they stop Low and already have the extender at play, well, that's the Centurion problem. It's not really good going second into boards because you're so normal summon relying your extra layers simply from Saphira. With the Drytron cards, you can have other layers of summoning, which is nice. Not only that, Benten gives you so much value. Your trade-off though for your explosive extenders is that you lose a bit more to draw, but again, you can mitigate the deck accordingly. So again, let's get into the combo. So first thing we do is Alpha Tribute Benten. That's the standard here, obviously. We're gonna add a Benten off the Alpha, and then we're gonna add Low because she's our level 1 light fairy off of our Benten. So now we're gonna go normal summon Low. Low is gonna activate our barrier from the deck. Barrier is a pretty sick card while it's on the field. Low and the rituals on the field, your rituals can't be targeted. This also applies to Benten and Natasha. So when you're breaking a board going second, it's kind of clean because you can essentially summon out a Natasha and they can't interact with it banish it on the field or anything while you have Low and barrier up. So essentially you can keep your Low up, have the Guardian or just some ritual, and then start stealing their monsters with the Natasha and they can't interact with your board. So it's kind of nice. So here we use the barrier to add our Saphira. This card, by the way, is absolutely crazy. The fact that she has, in this version especially, it gives you access to your Medionis, which is just insane because Medionis can just re-add itself from graveyard. So that's actually what we're going to do in part of this combo, but we're only going to ritual twice in this first turn iteration because Saphira is going to do one of our ritual summons and the Medionis is going to do the second one, which is completely fine. So here we're going to use the Saphira to dump the Medionis and add the Skull Guardian. So this part's super important. You want to do this first so we can get the Medionis out of the graveyard on the Alpha. It doesn't really super matter. You can do it on the Mu Beta too. It doesn't really matter. But I try to do it before I commit plays. Get all your cards back to your hand. So you're gonna go Medionis on your Alpha, add it back to your hand, and then you're gonna convert both Low and Alpha into Mu Beta because they're both level 1s, which is pretty sick. So now Mu Beta is gonna dump a name from your deck to the grave. We're gonna just dump Gamma because it's essentially gonna replace itself. We already have access to Medionis, so Zeta is kind of useless here. Delta is the only one that will give you kind of value. So depending on your hand, you could go for Delta because you have the Skull Guardian in your hand already, or the Medionis for a reveal. So it just depends, but Gamma is usually better because you're going to get the extra body. So from here, we're going to use Medionis, detach our Alpha, and then we're going to just resummon Benten. So this is the super sick part. Now, you guys can kind of see what's coming. This is only our 4th summon, so we're gonna get like a bunch of triggers going now on our guy, because we still have Saphir that we haven't used to ritual summon yet. Now we have 2 Bentens that we're gonna use essentially to summon our Guardian. So we can use Saphir here, tribute both of those. And now we're going to use Guardian 1, double Benten 2, 3 because they're both tributed in order to summon the Guardian because it's level 7, which is kind of like weird and like kind of annoying because it's like it's a 7 and it's 2050, so it doesn't really work well with Drytrons and this, but it's still nice essentially because you're going to get 3 searches off. So there's a few options. You can play I tend to add orange here because like this is like gives you extra protection on your Dynamundo. If they like top like a beast shield or bell, essentially you can stop this when they try to hit your Dynamundo, or it gives your board like an extra layer essentially. And then Cerevis here because this is what your Skull Guardians are adding. You can also play the Amor Factor guy because he can search the Amor Factor guy, which is kind of cool. So if you want to like extend this combo further and maybe play like the Voiceless ritual spell and do stuff like that, you can also like get some more factor, which is kind of crazy. Don't forget, like on your opponent's turn, like you can also do like tricks and tagging out the lows because you don't have like specific like restrictions that on your opponent's turn. With the Drytron cards, it's only on like your turn, so that's why like this all works together. So now we have like Orange, Cerevis, and Benten, which is like insane follow up. Remember, this was just all of just one name Benten. So now we're gonna use the Gamma here, tribute. So you have 2 options here. You can choose to just add like a follow-up low because remember, again, Life Fairy kind of cool. Or I just try to add Natasha here because like she's gonna work the next turn, because if we top deck a name, because remember, this is just like a 2-card combo. You have 3 other cards in your hand, right? So if you have like other Drytron names, you can like do the cooler plays where you like tribute like a Drytron from your hand essentially, or use like a name just 1 Benten, because that's 7 to summon the Guardian instead of just using double Benten and the trigger there. So it just depends again on the rest of your hand. And again, this is a 2-card combo that is like not dependent in like hand traps. I'm not like playing hands and showing you how to play around certain hand traps in this combo. This is just the true combo for it. So at this point now, you have a Cerevis, which is pretty sick because it's also going to protect part of your board, which is nice. So you're gonna add the Natasha. You have, as I said, you have a choice between Lo and Natasha. I personally like Natasha here because of everything I said before, where you can just add back Medionis and summon her and start cracking their board. Because you would have gone through 3 Bentens, which sucks, but this is kind of cool why Benten's at 3 because it's part of this combo. So from here, now we are going to convert both the Gamma and the Alpha into IP. So now we're going to then convert the Mubeta and the Skull Guardian into Dynamundo. Again, you're nib proof because you have Orange Natasha, so they have to nib you prior on Skull Guardian summon. If they let the Bentens resolve, you can keep going. And again, you'll have other layers that will keep you playing. So now this might not look like much, but then now on your opponent's turn, you can tag out the Dynamundo. I know it says on phase, but like a past turn. And then when the Skull Guardian summon, the low triggers then on summon also to then activate the trap card, which is very nice. So after you use up your Skull Guardian negate, you can then use your IP then to convert it into something like Apo, while then still having the orange negates, which are nice, and making it targetable because you have Cerevis. So you have a lot of like layers going on here, and not only that, the trap card is also like another interruption, and this is just all off one Drytron name, which is just showing you just like the brief, like, I don't know, the brief window, just like kind of like a snapshot of what this deck can do. I don't know why people haven't like messed around too much with the Drytron cards that I've seen, and I understand Droll's a card, but I think just having the extra layers again is like super nice. So I'll keep like releasing combos on this deck as like the weeks go on and stuff, but if you guys would love to see the deck profile, be sure to smash that thumbs up and subscribe and share this video with all your friends. This is Justin with Ramping Nation, and see you guys.